a 5-0 running up on the block, you know what I'm saying? Yo, Snow, they came around looking for you the other day. Word, bust it.
Informer, you know, say that I'm a snowman, I go blam. I like keep on now. Take the man that says that I'm a snowman, stamp somewhere down the lane. I like keep on now. Informer, you know, say that I'm a snowman, I go blam. I like keep on now. Take the man that says that I'm a snowman, stamp somewhere down the lane. I like keep on now.
Don't you remember when cultural appropriation was hot? Yes, that's right. A little bit of Snow back from 92. If you're old enough to remember that, you're old enough to remember a world before YouTube. Lucky you. Okay, so already, this is only my 5th video, I think, on this particular channel. My apologies and amendments already. I have to make an amendment video. I'm not doing this off a script. I'm going to have to learn how to read off scripts properly, because that at least will give me more time to think about what I want to say and cause less misconstruement, more clarity is what I'm after, more clarity. So I welcome correction. If I'm wrong on stuff, please comment, get in touch with me, email me if you can find me. Seriously, I want to be corrected. I'm not here to say I'm an all-knowing fountain of wisdom. I'm here to just add more grey area to the grey area. So one of the problems is this buzzwords idea. That's really what I was trying to get at in my last video about white supremacy, because, you know, it's everyone's fucking favourite subject, and it's only been brought up really because of the US election. Now, forgive me if I'm wrong. Am I like stupid or something? But like, what colour, what race was Hillary? Does anyone actually remember, like, what ethnicity she would be? I mean, the last time I checked, like, fucking pink wasn't a colour, it wasn't a race. Like, sure, she should have won because of vagina, but that's not a race. Why has this become such a racial issue along that line? Why has white supremacy won over Hillary? Like, why does she... Anyway, okay. That's just me being slightly confused. Anyway, what I want to talk about is the fact that words are actually powerful, okay? Using words like white supremacist, using words like racist, sexist, misogynist, they are not just words. I mean, these words have meanings and are not just labels. And I'm really afraid that what the progressives, or progressivism, as I'll label it, progressivism, let's go with that, what they've done is turned these actual meanings, these representative meanings, into labels. Now, what happens when you hear a word like racist, like sexist, like misogynist? When you hear that, you know, what happens in your brain? Like, is there a filing cabinet that opens in your brain? Everyone has a different filing cabinet that's opened by that word. You know, that word is there to trigger a response. Now, that response, of course, is dependent upon your cultural situation, it's dependent upon your life, it's dependent upon things that have happened to you, your education, all those sorts of things. But usually in these categories, all the worst things that you can think of come to mind, generally speaking, for most people. You know, when they hear a term like racist, they think of fairly negative things, you know. And so the left, or let's say the progressives, have made this real problem by using these buzzwords so much. It's almost like they're turning, it's almost like what? It's almost like they're turning that label into the action. How do I describe this? What's the best way to describe this? It's kind of like Clockwork Orange, okay? Do you remember Clockwork Orange, where he's like strapped to the chair and they're like pumping him full of information? And so it's kind of like a brainwashing technique, you know, like once you have made these connections in your brain, like hardwired your brain with these concepts and meanings, when you respond to things emotionally, those words, those actions, those sights, those sounds will trigger this memory. And what I'm afraid of is the progressivism and people on the left who, again, I identify with. I mean, that's probably what I would class myself if I had to class myself as anything. Now I find myself, of course, drifting slightly to the right because the left has swung so far left. But the problem being that this progressive sort of movement has really overexposed these words and used them too often, and so they've in a way lost meaning to the people who are using them, but gained an emotional quality. And to the people on the outside, they still have, you know, not the dictionary quality, but the personal meaning that they've taken on. And so it's a fairly emotive response you're getting to this. anyway, I had to get linguistic on you. I'm not like Professor Linguistics. And at the same time, I'm starting to ramble a little bit because, again, I'm not really scripting this properly. But it's really important, I think, to make a clarification, just because there's so many people talking about the reason why Donald Trump being elected was white supremacy. Clearly, if you go and have a look at the numbers, it had nothing to do with the white supremacy. Maybe there's some issues with the alt-right in there. Maybe Pepe was the reason why Donald Trump got in. Maybe everyone just elected a Pepe. I will do an analysis and a thought-provoking thing, hopefully, on Donald Trump soon, gathering information mostly about other people's opinions about it, and yeah, it's quite interesting to look at what everyone else's ideas are, and I'm just sort of coalescing that in my mind at the moment. Anyway, this is really an amendment. It's going on for too long already. I just wanted to clarify, I'm not correct on everything. I'm here to have discussion. My apologies if the last couple of videos seem to drift a little. This one's probably drifted a little as well, but I'm just here to have a conversation about this because I think these issues are important, and particularly language is important, words are important, the way people use words are important, and if you start to turn these words into labels that then you can attribute to things arbitrarily because of your emotional feelings towards it, we start to lose not just the meaning of the word, but we start to get this really, it's 1984, okay, it's Clockwork Orange, it's all the things that are horrible that we've thought about and fought about for years on the left side. This is why I don't understand it. This is all left against left. Anyway, yeah, we'll talk about this later. Night, y'all. I'll play some more cultural appropriation, I think, because, hey, there's nothing better than a bit of old school cultural appropriation.
People them say I come from Jamaica, but me born and raised in the ghetto, no one tell to know. People are people, man, is all a man know. Yeah, my shoes and them tear up and my toes just a show. When me a born and I don't want your answer, so informer. You know, say that I'm a slummy, I go play. I like it boom boom down. Take the man that say that I'm a slummy, start somewhere down the lane. I like it boom boom down. Informer. You know, say that I'm a slummy, I go play. I like it boom boom down. Take the man that say that I'm a slummy, start somewhere down the lane. I like it boom boom down. Come with a nice young lady, intelligent.